Hello everybody, Eon here, and it's time to go back and look into February 2025, our 3D printing overview number 2. I appreciate your patience as I prepare to do this. Back to Aether Studios, or Aether Studios, I suppose. They've done a few more releases, exterior temple walls and chimer terrain. We see here the asset pack, fruits and vegetables, and the Scorpion Queen Nora Sunamun. They had the tea house, which is coming in various parts as well. Which kind of leads into the manor, along with a kitchen and some traps. But since then, we saw now the chimer pavilions, as well as a roof work in progress. Here we can see some walls and floors, and I think they made a comment that this has really gotten kind of out of hand. They just keep going with these, and these have gotten pretty big. And apparently, I think, I may be wrong on this, I think they're both open lock and Dragon Bite compatible. Chimer walls and floors, and some village ruins. These could be probably fantasy or sci-fi. And then the Gods of Egypt walls. Sorry, but I'm not familiar enough with the gods to tell you which ones are which god. But you see they come in about 6 different varieties. You also see a small house here. A big house. And then they continue back with the manor. So you see the den and the Festworth Manor front door. And this Paladin miniature has actually been tested successfully to print on FDM, and will go out this month as well. So they have primarily focused on FDM friendly miniatures, less on resin, but they're going to be swapping that up a little bit. So be very curious to see what comes more from Aether Studios. New to my video, just for the sake of saying that, is Animal Den Miniatures. Animal Den Miniatures does basically real life animals in a certain theme. This month's theme is Wild China, and I put these in fantasy, but these could really, I'm almost tempted to start a new category of video and just call it like etc. maybe, or miscellany. There, this would go in there. This is a clouded leopard, Neophelus nebulosa. Comes in a couple of different sculpts, as well as chasing a Muntyak deer. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. The leopard also has a couple of bust varieties. These are golden pheasants. You can tell the male versus the female. And again, this is where rendering has really done these very well. You can also see a couple of males fighting. These are Chrysolophus pictus. And then the red panda, Alurus fulgens. Next up, we have BattleYak Miniatures. BattleYak Miniatures has had their free miniature this month, the Mordregar Battle Ghouls, so be sure to check that out. New to my videos is Belksasar 3D Print, so let's take a look and see what they have to offer this month. We have Burning Sin, the Infernal Rise, as well as some props to go along with this. This comes in both a 32mm and a 75mm version. Here we see Behemoth version A and Behemoth version B and C. I'm not entirely sure exactly what you would call that. Behemoth sounds like a good term. Here we have a Harvester Demoness. Comes in several different versions. This is a Titan Siege Beast, or Sigu Beast. And on the right, we see an Infernal Blackwing, as well as the second sculpt of that. Here we see an Infernal Doomed. And this comes in a few sculpts as well. These all seem very anime inspired to me, and I know for some people they don't like that, but I actually like the style. I think it's a very unique style. Great job, Bilksasar. I'm curious to see what more you have to come for us in the coming months as I add you to my rotation. Bite the Bullet Studios has put out a new loyalty reward. So if you've been with them for December, January, and February, you'll get the Swarm Space Monster. I do believe this is more of a science fiction monster, so we'll throw it over in that video as well. But I like to put Bite the Bullet in here as well. New to my videos, and again, I'm just saying that for the sake of time stamping, is Blackcrest Miniatures. Blackcrest this month is doing the Children of Elora. Here on the right, we can see Sierra. We see Skyclaw Talon Slayer and a Songweaver. Here we have some Skyclaw Harpies and some Zephyr Elementals. All of that from Blackcrest Miniatures. Also new to my videos, I like to scrape and add some new people in when I can for the overview number 2, and then they become part of the regular rotation, is Bulkamancer. Bulkamancer is a team of 5 individuals with a shared passion. They do a lot more of busts, and again, I feel like these would be better in kind of another video, and we're kind of getting to that point where I think it's about time. So they do some very highly detailed busts, figurine style miniatures. The base for this one is actually made to go along with that Jinx model you just saw. The Jinx model's not this month, but the base is designed to fit with Jinx so that the two can go together. And they're pretty excited about that. This is Dressed in Rage by their core artist Victoria. Obviously you can see is inspired by Alice in Wonderland, or Alice in Nightmare Land, I would say. Again, just to kind of give you an idea of what the different pieces are that you'll be getting to put this diorama together. And then they have the last of the Honor Guard by core member Milana. And this model is actually available apparently until the end of March, but I believe it's coming out here in February. I may be messing this up, but they did say it was available until the end of March. And you can see the pieces you would need to print and then assemble together in order to put together this figurine. Creature Caster is another that I believe is new to my video. We're going to see a few of those this time around. They tend to do a more H.P. Lovecraft / almost steampunk sort of vibe, and this is the Biomancer of Malefica. I think they're changing up their Patreon a little bit, but they're new to me, so we're still getting used to them, but I wanted to point this out. Custom Miniature Maker has put out a few more previews, including this Old World Cannon. Notice it comes with several stacks of shot to be put into it. In addition to all of this, you get a few different types of bases. These are Blood Ritual, runic sigils carved into ancient stone. They feel like these would fit well for any vampire theme or set of mobs in the ancient past or even the far future. And this is Grass Marsh. Thick grass texture, streams of water flowing in between. So maybe, you know, swollen undead or anything, you know, lizard folk, those types of things would do well with these bases. Dark Realms has put out a small additional thing here. They have added a little bit more to the Ruined Keep. Deathpunk Studio, I got their name right this time, so sorry about that, have put out another miniature, Tobin Thornfoot, a Halfling Ranger. Dragon Trapper's Lodge hasn't really put anything out new, except they do have this Ravenfolk Hero miniature that's free until Friday, February 21st. The Dragon's Rest has put out a few new previews as well. They're kind of continuing with like the hedge, shrubbery sort of model theme. I'll admit I'm still trying to quite figure out Dragon's Rest and what they're going for here, but you can see how this could be put together to make a hedge maze with these models here. Dungeon Dog has put out a little bit more detailed preview of the Rudderkin. And I'm not sure if that's supposed to be F for female. I believe it means Sculpt F. As in, there were 5 other sculpts before this one. But very detailed, horrific model. Good job, Dungeon. New to my video is Fate's End. I don't know why this is just new here, but this is the only graphic for that. So you get a Spider Queen dice tower, a stalactite tower, a stone familiar dice tower, a stone familiar ornament, a stone familiar miniature, a Windows goblet, a ranger ducky, and a Nightweave tome dice tower. Not in the order we're looking at here, obviously. Ghamak has put out a few more previews. This is the entire month of February. You'll see undead, you'll see dwarves, and you'll also see the new Akai Shogunate, Asian-inspired themed army. So here's the Akai Shogunate. Goetia Miniatures, one of the others, the way you're supposed to say it, I believe is also new to my videos. We have the Keepers of the Keys. And unfortunately, I don't really have names for these models. And I did look, but I believe they have a 5e compatible adventure module to go along with these unique characters. That's what I wanted to say. Looks like they've even added in the actual words on the scrolls there. That's pretty detailed work. They didn't just do the typical, doctor's handwriting deal. They also put out, they said due to everyone's support, they're able to do an extra miniature this month, and there's the King of Greed. Hardwitch Games is new to my videos. I saw this one mentioned from Great Grimoire, and I actually saw it mentioned by another Patreon as well. But we have 19 high-quality miniatures that you'll get this month for Blinded Will. And let's take a look and see what we have coming out this month. Can't tell if that's steampunk or cybernetics. I look forward to seeing more from this creator that I just found out about. Some of you probably already knew about them. Highlands Miniatures has put out a little bit better preview of their February Sewer Vermin release. Again, this is everything you get for the month of February. And they like to print out their miniatures and show you what the actual models look like instead of just the beautiful renders, which I always appreciate. There's their sensor thrower. It looks pretty much like what they say it's going to look like, doesn't it? These, I believe, are the rat gores, like rat ogre, if you would, I suppose. These are rat masters with their rats, well, just rats, giant rats. Because the rat swarms would look like these. Pretty cool stuff to see here. Ichi Forge. This is the type of stuff I don't like really talking about, but I think we need to address it for anybody that, like me, I actually subscribe to Ichi Forge, and I guess I won't be for much longer. Ichi Forge has been working on the development of a large unit in Army for a War game, and they're in a sci-fi setting, actually, where Ichi Forge has been traditionally fantasy. And they're pretty excited about that. But unfortunately, where a big company has caused them some copyright complaints, claiming that the ideas and the resemblance of that company's figures to theirs is way too close, they're going to be shutting down their Patreon, as I understand it. So, unfortunately, the Ichi Forge is not quite. I hate to see that, because they're one of the ones that wasn't trying to go for the $10 a month model. They were like, hey, we'll give you a handful of models, for a little, a few dollars, and you're good to go. And I like that model, because at the rate that I'm printing, that's about the rate that I need models to be released. So, but anyway, I just wanted to put that information there in case anyone was interested to know. We see new Patreons start, and sometimes we unfortunately see them go away. But hopefully, this is just Ichi Forge, like the Phoenix, becoming a new form. Imp3 Desion has put out this new image. I don't think I had this one before, of the Wings of Death Giant Dragon. And I've already put out the March release as well. We'll be coming back to look at this. I've actually been talking to the creator of M3 Desion, and apparently the name makes a little bit more sense in Spanish than it does in English. And I'm looking forward to seeing more from M3 Desion every month. I continue to be impressed. New to my video is JHC. This is a first glimpse of Eldra Tanglethorn coming out. Kyoushuneko Miniatures, I hope I'm saying that right, is put out their second release for the month of February. For their fantasy release, we have the Chinese Cathay Army, and this is including the Japanese Crab Clan. There's the champion Ohida Kashida. I know I'm probably butchering that, I apologize. We have a bunch of Shadowblade assassins as well. Mini Monster Mayhem has put out Blue Dragon's Badland, and this was released on February 9th, and so now that we're past that point, we can actually see what they're putting out. So they have a dice tray, a dice tower, a very nice looking blue dragon head, and if you're not familiar with your D&D lore, as I remember it, blue dragons are lightning spitters, not fire spitters. This is a book holder. I could probably use that for my Kindle. Imagine printing a few of those out and hanging around your house for cookbooks or whatever. And they do come with a couple of different options. Well, that's the front and the back, isn't it? But I think they might have a couple of different sizes. There's a couple of cups that you can print off. Again, you probably would not want to put your drink in there. You'd want to use it to hold the can or such. This is a drink coaster. And some ring sizes. Now, when I first saw this, I was thinking napkin rings, so I'm sure you could print those off and use them for that purpose too. In addition, they just recently put out that they are also releasing miniatures of the Blue Dragon. Here we see all of the different sculpts that you're getting, and these are all beautiful, beautiful dragons in my opinion. Here's one of the sculpts a little bit up closer from 3 different angles. Another sculpt. And another sculpt. And here are some of the younger blue dragons as well. Miniature Land is one that I have been resisting subscribing to because they are so prolific. They're a great deal, and they do have multiple tiers depending on what you want to get. Now, their graphic for this month says February release is still available. Get all February release, but I believe all of the images in this picture are actually January releases. So I don't know if that's a typo or if they're one of those Patreons that kind of does 2 months and 1 month over 2 months, or how exactly that works. If someone can clarify for me, I'd appreciate it. But I mean, the Dwarf Brewery alone is probably worth the price of admission there. Not to mention the Dwarf Watermill and all these other things. If you're interested in Trench Crusade, which is, you know, sci-fi, there's a whole modular trench battle zone. But I'm not sure how available that is. It says get all February release still available. Subscribe and get all February release, and it shows you these. But they've been putting out some stuff for February, including the Goblin Moon Shrine and the Elven Dungeon Entrance. We have a giant siege troll, and I just thought it was kind of cute, the little goblins on his back. He's pretty impressive. Very different looking model, but they focus more on terrain than they do miniatures. This is the Desert Tower House, and just, it comes in 6 floors. It's a 6-part print, 6-part dungeon. Here we have the Dark Elf Manor and the Dwarf Brewery. Now again, I think these are part of the January release, not the February release. And then we have the Raised Frost Cavern. I do believe this is part of the February release. As well as the Ruined Caribbean Church and the Ruined Roman Temple. Papal 3D, I don't know why I haven't added them before now, and I apologize for that, are doing the Highland Raiders. So there's everything you get for the month of February at a glance. Let's take a look closer. We have 3 horse riders, raiders with shield, raiders with pike, some dead raiders, and of course the Raider Lord and Black Wolf. In addition, you get a monthly mythic, which is the Snow Lurkers. And the throwback set is the Brown Wizard on Giant Eagle and the Giant Black Bear. Primal Collectibles has finally released this month. Again, they weren't released until around the 10th or so. And here are the 8 miniatures we're getting this month. Silra and Warder. Sethma and Aluatus. Marleman and Gregoron. Ian and Killen. Again, these are all from the Wasteland theme, again inspired by Dark Sun. The Printing Goes Ever On has put out their, I forget the term, I didn't write it down, Rider Markin or something was the name, so I'm a sucker for terrain, so let's look at these houses. Very nice renders there. Sculptooner has put out a couple new previews. Now, let's review really quickly. This is Frostbite Peaks 1 for the month of February. So we've already seen the Pestilent Druid, who is kind of the core of this release. But he has some minions that he can summon, including the Ice Spiders. This is a new render, as well as the North Treants. New to my video is Twin Goddess Minis. Twin Goddess Minis is doing several different characters here. Here we see Kaja, the Goblin Mecha Brawler. This is probably Kaldormu, the Dragon Knight. This is the Shadow Money Wizard Gang. I presume this is Vati, the Elven Void Warlock. Hadri, the Halfling Warlock. And this is Red Hood. When I first saw her, before I saw the colorized version, I thought she was from Beauxbatons. Ugni Miniatures, very similar in name to Ichi Forge, in my opinion, is new to my video, and we are kind of looking at basically fantasy football. These are the Dark Dwarves, imbued with destruction and fiery fury. This is the Magma Chorfs Part 2. Here we see the linemen, 4 of the 9. Here we have 3 blockers. And apparently there was a request for more mutations, and that's what the addition is there. You can mutate them however you wish. Here we have the Brother Coaches. Apparently Fiends is another army that they have released. Here's the Apothecary. And they have a couple of Elven Champions that were added in. And if there was any doubt as to whether this is fantasy football or not, I think those are kind of allayed at this point. You also get 3 busts as well as some bases. White Werewolf Tavern put out a Valentine's Day gift, so I presume that if you still back them before the month of February ends, you can get this very interesting diorama. Witchsong Miniatures, if you remember, was doing the Avatar of Despair. Well, they've put out the render of that model, and here it is. Well, we managed to stay under 30 minutes, y'all. Thanks for watching, and I will probably be seeing you before long to preview March. If I see more coming out, I will probably put out one more overview video if we're lucky before everything is said and done. It's snowing in my neck of the woods. Hope you stay warm and safe wherever you are. Take care.